Once upon a time, in the far reaches of the mystical realm of Glaciera, there lived a young prince named Arcticus. This was no ordinary land. It was a kingdom where the snow never melted and the auroras danced freely in the sky, painting the heavens with vibrant colors every night. Prince Arcticus was not just the heir to the throne of this frost-covered kingdom, but he was also the guardian of a rare and majestic creature, an ice griffon named Frostwing. Frostwing was not just a companion. He was a part of Glaciera's legend. With feathers as white as the purest snow and eyes sparkling like sapphires, Frostwing was capable of creating blizzards and summoning gusts of chilling winds with the flap of his powerful wings. Together, Prince Arcticus and Frostwing shared a bond that was forged in the mystical snows of their homeland. One chilly evening, as the auroras flickered like whispers of spirits in the sky, the wise old oracle of Glaciera came to the palace with a dire prophecy. She spoke of an impending doom that loomed over their beloved kingdom, a great warmth that threatened to melt their eternal ice and snow, brought forth by a fire dragon awakened from its long slumber in the neighboring kingdom of Pyralis. Determined to protect his home, Prince Arcticus decided to confront this fiery beast. He knew the journey would be perilous, and the odds were against him. But with Frostwing by his side, he felt a surge of courage. Before dawn broke, with the cold winds howling their blessings, Arcticus mounted Frostwing, and together they soared into the starlit sky towards Pyralis. The journey was long and fraught with challenges. They crossed over mountains that pierced the clouds and vast frozen lakes that mirrored the stars above. Along the way, they encountered creatures of all kinds. There were the snow leopards of the whispering peaks, the ice serpents slithering through the frosted groves, and the friendly frost giants who offered them shelter from the piercing cold. Upon reaching the borders of Pyralis, the landscape transformed drastically. From the kingdom of eternal frost, they ventured into a realm of crackling fires and rivers of lava. Here, the air was thick with heat, and the ground beneath their feet was warm and dry. It was in this fiery kingdom that Arcticus and Frostwing found the fire dragon, its scales glowing like molten rock and its eyes burning with the fury of 1,000 suns. The meeting was tense. Flames licked the sky as the dragon roared, its voice echoing across the scorched valleys. Arcticus, with a calm only the cool can possess, spoke to the dragon. He talked not of battles, but of balance and coexistence. Moved by his words, the dragon agreed to a truce. It was not the icy cold or the scorching heat that would reign supreme, but a harmony that would ensure the survival of both their lands. With the truce formed and the fire dragon subdued, Arcticus and Frostwing journeyed back to Glaciera. The kingdom welcomed them with joy and relief. The oracle, seeing the balance restored, declared that as long as the land cherished both the cold of the ice and the warmth of friendship, peace would prevail. Prince Arcticus and Frostwing continued to watch over Glaciera, venturing out often to ensure that the balance of nature remained undisturbed. Their adventures became the stuff of legend, tales told from one generation to the next, under the shimmering glow of the northern lights. And so, in the kingdom of eternal ice, where the snow whispers secrets and the cold wind sings lullabies, Prince Arcticus and his ice griffon lived many more years, guardians of their beloved land and symbols of courage and unity in the face of adversity. And every night, when the auroras painted the sky, it was said that it was the spirits celebrating their timeless bond, a reminder that even the coldest ice can be warmed by the heart of a hero. One crisp morning, as the sun barely peeked over the icy horizon of Glaciera, Prince Arcticus and Frostwing prepared for yet another journey, one that would take them beyond the familiar snowy borders of their homeland. This time, their adventure was prompted by a mysterious, ancient map that had been found in the depths of the royal library. The map pointed to a hidden valley deep within the Everfrost Mountains, a place rumored to hold a secret that could change the fate of Glaciera forever. The map was old and fragile, its edges frayed and its lines faded, but the excitement in Prince Arcticus's heart was fresh and fervent. With Frostwing at his side, he studied the map under the dim light of the dawn, tracing the path that would lead them through uncharted territories and unknown dangers. The map marked a spot with an ancient rune that resembled the legendary Crystal of Frost, an artifact said to possess the power to control the very essence of winter itself. Gathering a small band of trusted knights and scholars, Arcticus set out towards the Everfrost Mountains. The journey was arduous, the mountains were steep, and the winds were relentless. Frostwing, soaring high above, was an invaluable guide, spotting pathways through the treacherous terrain and shelter from the biting cold. After several days of travel, the party reached a cavern marked with the same ancient rune found on the map. The entrance was adorned with ice sculptures that shimmered under Frostwing's icy breath, casting eerie lights within the hollow. As they ventured deeper into the cavern, the air grew mysteriously warm, and the ice melted away to reveal lush, verdant life thriving beneath the frost. This hidden valley, a paradox in the heart of ice, was kept alive by the crystal of frost, which sat atop a pedestal in the center of the valley. The crystal pulsed with a gentle blue light, its power maintaining a balance between ice and life. However, the crystal was weakening, its light dimming with each passing day. Arcticus and his companions soon discovered that the crystal's energy could be restored with the Firestone, a mythical gem from the fiery depths of Pyralus. Remembering his truce with the fire dragon and the promise of harmony, Arcticus knew what he must do. He decided to venture once again into Pyralus to find the Firestone. With Frostwing by his side, Arcticus flew to Pyralus, where they were greeted by the fire dragon. After explaining their plight, the fire dragon agreed to help them, touched by the memory of their previous encounter. Together, they descended into the volcanic depths, battling through rivers of lava and ash clouds until they found the Firestone, glowing red-hot within a crystallized magma chamber. With the Firestone secured, Arcticus and Frostwing hurried back to the hidden valley in Glaciera. Upon placing the Firestone next to the Crystal of Frost, a brilliant light filled the cavern. The two stones merged, their powers balancing perfectly, restoring the vitality of the crystal, and with it, the life of the valley. The journey not only saved the hidden valley, but also strengthened the bond between the kingdoms of Glaciera and Pyralus. Arcticus's bravery and wisdom heralded a new era of cooperation and peace, with Frostwing ever his faithful companion, guardian of the skies and keeper of the balance. Thus, Prince Arcticus and Frostwing returned to their kingdom, celebrated as heroes not just of Glaciera, but as champions of unity in a world where fire and ice, once adversaries, had learned to coexist in beautiful harmony. Months after the restoration of the Crystal of Frost, a strange phenomenon began to occur in Glaciera. Each night, the northern lights, once a blazing canvas of colors in the sky, started to dim, their vibrant hues fading into faint whispers. Concerned by this unusual change, Prince Arcticus and his council of wise elders couldn't ignore the signs. Something was amiss with the magic that sustained their realm. Determined to uncover the cause and restore the celestial spectacle, Prince Arcticus decided to consult the celestial seer, an ancient being said to live at the edge of the world, beyond the thrice-frozen sea. Preparing for an arduous journey, Arcticus and his companion, the noble ice griffon Frostwing, set out towards the uncharted waters. As they ventured further north than ever before, the sea turned into a maze of towering icebergs and chilling mists. Frostwing flew deftly between the icy monoliths, his wings stirring the silent fog as they traveled deeper into the unknown. After days of navigating through the cold and desolate seascape, they finally reached the Isle of Eternal Twilight, a forgotten place where day and night seemed to blend seamlessly. On the island, they found the celestial seer, a figure cloaked in starlight, her eyes reflecting the cosmos. The seer spoke of a rift in the veil that separated their world from the ethereal realms, where the spirits of the aurora were born. This rift was caused by a dark entity seeking to absorb the energy of the lights to strengthen its power in the shadows. To repair the rift and banish the dark entity, Arcticus and Frostwing needed to gather 3 elemental crystals scattered across the most extreme corners of their world, each guarded by a guardian beast of immense power. The first, the Crystal of Storms, was held in the caverns of the Howling Wind. The second, the Crystal of Depths, lay in the underwater ruins of the sunken palace. And the third, the Crystal of Embers, was hidden within the volcanic core of the Isle of Ashes. With Frostwing as his steadfast ally, Arcticus set off to retrieve the first crystal. They battled the mighty Thunderhawk, guardian of the Crystal of Storms, in a fierce storm above the cliffs of Howling Wind. With courage and skill, they overcame the beast, who, defeated but honored by their bravery, bestowed the crystal upon them. Next, they plunged into the icy depths of the sunken palace, where the ancient Leviathan awaited. Through a display of respect and understanding of the sea's nature, they convinced the Leviathan to entrust them with the Crystal of Depths without conflict. Finally, at the Isle of Ashes, they faced the Fire Serpent, a creature of lava and flame. By cooling the beast's fiery temper with Frostwing's icy breath, they gained its respect and secured the last crystal, the Crystal of Embers. With all three crystals in their possession, Arcticus and Frostwing returned to the Isle of Eternal Twilight. The Celestial Seer used the crystals to seal the rift, pushing back the dark entity into the shadows from whence it came. As the rift mended, the northern lights burst forth in the sky once more, brighter and more beautiful than ever. Returning home as saviors of the celestial dance, Prince Arcticus and Frostwing were celebrated as heroes. Their journey had not only restored the magic of their world, but had also taught them the power of understanding and respect for all creatures. And under the renewed glow of the northern lights, their tales of bravery and adventure were told, promising that wherever darkness rose, the light of heroes like Arcticus and Frostwing would always rise to meet it. Sometime after restoring the northern lights, Prince Arcticus and Frostwing embarked on a new and unexpected adventure. It all began one clear night, when a mysterious comet streaked across the sky of Glaciera, leaving behind a glowing trail that seemed to fall towards the Forgotten Forest, a dense, ancient woodland at the kingdom's edge, untouched and shrouded in mystery. Intrigued by the celestial event, Arcticus and his council of wise advisors speculated that the comet might carry rare celestial elements, possibly containing ancient magic or unknown energies. The prince knew that such elements could greatly benefit his kingdom, if they could be harnessed safely. With his faithful ice griffon Frostwing at his side, Arcticus set off at dawn towards the Forgotten Forest to find the comet's landing site. As they entered the thick woods, the environment around them changed drastically. The trees were taller than any in Glaciera, their branches heavy with silvery leaves that shimmered in the sunlight, casting ghostly glows on the forest floor. The deeper they ventured, the more the prince felt an eerie sense of magic in the air, ancient and powerful. Eventually, they reached a clearing where the comet had struck. The ground was covered in a layer of frost, and at the center lay a glowing, ice-encrusted rock. This celestial rock radiated a powerful energy, but as they approached, the ground trembled, and from the forest shadows emerged the guardian of the grove, a mythical creature resembling a giant wolf, with fur as white as snow and eyes glowing like moonstones. The guardian spoke in a voice that resonated through the trees, declaring that the comet was a harbinger of change, meant to awaken the dormant powers of the forest that had been safeguarding an ancient secret for millennia. It allowed Arcticus and Frostwing to approach the comet under one condition. They must face a series of trials to prove their worthiness, testing their bravery, wisdom, and heart. Their first trial was the trial of bravery, where Arcticus had to navigate through the treacherous thickets, a labyrinth of thorns and illusions designed to prey on the fears of those who entered. With Frostwing's guidance from above, providing a bird's-eye view of the path, Arcticus successfully navigated the thickets, his courage unwavering. Next came the trial of wisdom. This trial took place in the Hall of Echoes, where every word spoken echoed truths and lies. Arcticus was tasked with solving riddles spoken by the ancient trees, each riddle more complex than the last. His sharp intellect and patient demeanor allowed him to discern truth from deception, impressing the guardian. The final trial, the trial of heart, required Arcticus to sacrifice something dear to him to save the forest from a conjured wildfire set to consume it. Without hesitation, Arcticus offered a treasured pendant given to him by his late mother, symbolizing his deep love for his people and kingdom. As he placed the pendant in the heart of the fire, the flames extinguished instantly, and the forest thrived anew, greener and more vibrant than ever. Having passed all the trials, the Guardian deemed Arcticus and Frostwing worthy. The comet's celestial elements were entrusted to them, revealed to enhance the innate magic of Glaciera's land and people. The Guardian then faded back into the forest, leaving Arcticus and Frostwing standing in a now thriving grove, with new allies and a deeper understanding of their kingdom's ancient magics. Triumphant and enlightened, Arcticus and Frostwing returned to their kingdom, the celestial elements in hand, ready to harness these new powers for the good of Glaciera. Their adventure not only brought magical growth to their land, but also deepened their connection to the mysteries of their world, promising many more adventures to come under the watchful eyes of the stars. Several moons after their encounter in the Forgotten Forest, Prince Arcticus and Frostwing faced a new challenge when a sudden and unseasonable thaw began to affect the northernmost villages of Glaciera. The ice that had been stable for centuries started melting at an alarming rate, threatening the homes and way of life of the people who lived there. Determined to find the source of this mysterious warmth and reverse it, Arcticus and Frostwing ventured to the Arctic frontiers, the northernmost edge of Glaciera, where the ice meets the sea. This part of the kingdom was seldom explored due to its harsh conditions and the perilous icebound pass, a narrow path rumored to be guarded by the ice wraiths, phantom creatures said to be born from the very frost of the realm. Upon their arrival at the Arctic frontiers, the pair witnessed the unsettling sight of vast pools of water where there should have been solid ice. The local fauna, creatures accustomed to the cold, were in disarray, wandering in search of stable ground. Arcticus knew the urgency of their quest had just increased. As they approached the icebound pass, a chilling wind carrying whispers of ancient warnings tried to deter them. Unfazed, Arcticus and Frostwing pressed forward, their determination as solid as the ice beneath them. When they reached the narrowest part of the pass, the ice wraiths appeared, their forms shifting and swirling with the snow. Instead of battling these spirits, Arcticus chose to communicate, using an ancient dialect he had learned from the scrolls in the royal library. He explained their mission to preserve Glaciera and the natural world. Moved by his plea, the ice wraiths agreed to allow them passage, revealing that the source of the heat was not natural, but magical. The wraiths spoke of a lost artifact, the Sunstone, which had been stolen from the sun temple of a distant, sun-drenched land. It was accidentally activated and now lay deep within the cavern of eternal ice, misguidedly placed there by a band of wandering thieves who did not understand its power. Guided by the wraith's directions, Arcticus and Frostwing navigated deeper into the ice caverns. There, they found the Sunstone, its golden light radiating intense heat, melting everything around it. The challenge was clear. They had to deactivate the stone without destroying it, for it was a sacred object in its rightful home. Using a combination of Frostwing's icy breath and a protective chant Arcticus had learned from his studies, they managed to cool and then safely approach the Sunstone. Arcticus, using gloves woven from frost silk, a material immune to extreme temperatures, carefully encased the Sunstone in a container fashioned from the same icy threads. With the artifacts secured, they made their way back through the icebound pass, where the ice wraiths, now allies, bid them a frosty farewell. Arcticus knew the Sunstone needed to be returned to its rightful place to ensure the balance of magic across the lands was maintained. Arranging a diplomatic mission to the Sun Temple, Arcticus and a delegation from Glaciera traveled across seas and through deserts to return the Sunstone. The rulers of the sun-drenched land were grateful for the return of their artifact and, in thanks, formed an alliance with Glaciera, promising to aid each other against the theft and misuse of sacred powers. Returning home, Arcticus and Frostwing were hailed not only as heroes, but as vital ambassadors for peace and cooperation among distant kingdoms. Their journey had not only saved their own land from a natural disaster, but had also strengthened the bonds between different worlds, proving once again that understanding and respect for all cultures could lead to lasting peace and prosperity. As the seasons changed in Glaciera, bringing with them the crisp air of impending winter, a rare celestial event was predicted, an alignment of 3 moons, known as the Tri-Moon Convergence. This event was said to open a portal to the Lumina realm, a dimension filled with unimaginable beauty and ancient magic. The last occurrence was 1,000 years ago, and its return was eagerly awaited by scholars and mystics across the kingdom. Eager to witness and study this phenomenon, Prince Arcticus planned an expedition to the summit of Starlight, the highest peak in Glaciera, where the convergence could be observed with the greatest clarity. Along with a team of astronomers and mages, and his faithful companion, Frostwing, Arcticus set out towards the summit, carrying with them the Starlight Scope, an ancient telescope crafted specifically for such celestial events. As they ascended the snowy peak, the sky began to darken prematurely, an effect of the tri-moon convergence pulling on the very fabric of the atmosphere. The air shimmered with a silvery light, and the temperature dropped significantly, challenging even the well-prepared expedition team. Upon reaching the summit, the group set up their camp and prepared the Starlight Scope. As the moons began to align, a portal shimmered into existence, floating a few feet above the ground. Its swirling colors and soft radiance beckoned, but the ancient texts had warned of the unpredictable nature of the Lumina realm. It was a place of great knowledge and power, but also of profound danger to those unprepared for its trials. Driven by a thirst for knowledge and the spirit of adventure, Arcticus decided to enter the portal, with Frostwing at his side. They stepped through together and found themselves in a landscape that defied all expectations. The realm was a tapestry of floating islands, each glowing with a different hue, and the sky was filled with bright streaks of color that moved like rivers. They were greeted by the Luminars, ethereal beings of pure light who were the guardians of the realm. The Luminars welcomed Arcticus and Frostwing, expressing joy at their arrival, which had been foretold in their ancient prophecies. They spoke of a darkness that had started to seep into their realm, corrupting its light and threatening to spread beyond their borders. Arcticus offered his help, and in return, the Luminars agreed to share their knowledge of ancient magic and celestial mechanics, which could greatly benefit Glaciera. They handed him the Crystal of Pure Light, a powerful artifact that could cleanse their realm and close the corrupting rifts. The first challenge was to navigate the maze of mirrors, an ever-changing labyrinth of reflective surfaces that could trap an unwary traveler forever. Using Frostwing's keen senses and the light of the crystal, Arcticus managed to find a path through the maze, reflecting beams of light to open the path forward. Next, they faced the Garden of Shadows, where darkness disguised as beautiful flowers tried to lure them into eternal slumber. By illuminating the garden with the crystal of pure light, Arcticus revealed the true paths among the deceptive shadows, allowing them to pass safely. Finally, they reached the core of darkness, the source of the corruption. Using the crystal, Arcticus and Frostwing worked together to channel a powerful burst of light, dispelling the darkness and sealing the rifts permanently. Having restored the balance in the Lumina realm, Arcticus and Frostwing bid farewell to the Luminars, who, in gratitude, gifted Arcticus a tome of luminary wisdom, containing spells and knowledge lost to time. Returning through the portal just as the tri-moon convergence ended, Arcticus and his team descended the summit of Starlight with not just the tale of an incredible adventure, but also valuable knowledge that would benefit Glaciera for generations to come. Their successful return was celebrated throughout the kingdom, marking another chapter in the legendary tales of Prince Arcticus and his ice griffon, Frostwing. After the enlightening journey to the Lumina realm, Prince Arcticus and Frostwing continued their endeavors in safeguarding and exploring the mysteries of Glaciera. Their next adventure began when a series of powerful earthquakes shook the kingdom, unsettling the usually stable icy terrains and opening deep fissures across the landscape. Concerned about the safety of his people and the structural integrity of their land, Arcticus set out to uncover the source of these tremors. With Frostwing by his side, the prince visited the affected areas, observing the damage and consulting with local seismologists and geomancers. They discovered that the quakes were centered around the Frostforge Mountains, an ancient range said to house the Heart of Winter, a mythical core of ice that was believed to regulate the climate and stability of the entire region. Determined to investigate further and possibly stabilize the Heart of Winter, Arcticus and Frostwing embarked on a perilous journey to the Frostforge Mountains. The terrain grew increasingly treacherous as they ascended, with hidden crevasses and unpredictable snowfalls. Their progress was slow but steady, guided by Frostwing's keen senses and Arcticus's unwavering resolve. Upon reaching the summit, they found an entrance to a cavern system that delved deep into the heart of the mountains. The air inside was unnaturally cold, even for Glaciera, and the ice shimmered with a subtle magical glow. As they navigated through the icy labyrinth, they encountered guardians of ice, sentient, crystalline creatures formed from the ancient magic that protected the heart of winter. Arcticus, using a pendant imbued with the essence of the Lumina realm, communicated his intentions to the guardians, assuring them of his quest to restore balance and not to harm their sacred site. Recognizing his noble purpose, the guardians allowed them passage, guiding them to the core chamber where the heart of winter pulsed weakly, its light dimming with each tremor. In the chamber, Arcticus and Frostwing found that the heart of winter was actually a massive ancient crystal, fractured from the seismic activity. Using a combination of Frostwing's ice magic and the celestial knowledge gleaned from the Lumina realm, Arcticus began a ritual to mend the crystal. He chanted ancient spells, directing Frostwing to breathe an aura of pure winter magic onto the heart, while he aligned the fractured pieces using levitation spells. As the ritual progressed, the tremors grew stronger, threatening to collapse the cavern. With a final, concentrated effort, Arcticus completed the ritual, and a surge of energy burst from the heart of winter, stabilizing the fractures and spreading a wave of soothing cold throughout the kingdom. The earthquake ceased, and the ice sealed itself as if it had never been broken. Their mission completed, Arcticus and Frostwing made their way out of the cavern, greeted by the relieved cheers of their expedition team, who had waited anxiously at the base of the mountain. News of their success quickly spread throughout Glaciera, and celebrations ensued, honoring the bravery and wisdom of the prince and his loyal griffon. This adventure not only reinforced the stability of Glaciera, but also deepened Arcticus's understanding of the ancient forces at work within his kingdom. It reminded all of Glaciera of the delicate balance that sustained their magical world, and of the courage and vigilance needed to maintain it. As peace returned to the land, Arcticus and Frostwing stood ready for whatever challenges might come next, guardians ever vigilant of the icy realm they called home. Sometime after stabilizing the heart of winter, Prince Arcticus and his faithful companion, Frostwing, faced a new challenge when a mysterious blight began to spread across the northern forests of Glaciera. This blight, a dark, creeping fungus, threatened the icewood trees, ancient magical trees that were vital to maintaining the ecological balance and magical barriers of the kingdom. With the trees wilting and their magic waning, Arcticus knew he needed to act swiftly to prevent the blight from spreading further and to preserve the natural sanctity of his realm. Gathering a team of botanists, magicians, and Frostwing, he set out towards the northern woods where the blight was most severe. Upon arrival, the extent of the devastation was worse than anticipated. The once vibrant blue and silver leaves of the icewood trees were now withered and blackened, and a palpable sense of despair hung in the air. The team collected samples of the blight, studying its properties with their tools and magic. It was determined that the fungus was not natural to Glaciera. Somehow it had been introduced, possibly by foreign explorers or traders. Determined to find a cure, Arcticus decided to consult the Hermit of the Hollow, an ancient druid who lived in seclusion in the oldest part of the forest and was said to possess deep knowledge of dark and unnatural afflictions. With Frostwing leading the way, they navigated deeper into the woods until they reached the hermit's abode, a quaint cottage encased in twisting vines and frost. The hermit, a wizened figure with eyes as clear as ice, listened intently to their plight. After examining the samples, he revealed that the fungus could indeed be countered, but required the dew of the dawnflower, a rare plant that bloomed only once every century at the peak of Mount Everfrost. Luckily, the bloom coincided with the current month, but reaching it would be perilous and the path fraught with challenges. Wasting no time, Arcticus and Frostwing ascended Mount Everfrost, battling through harsh winds and treacherous terrain. Upon reaching the peak, as the first light of dawn brushed the horizon, they found the dawnflower in bloom, its petals glowing with ethereal light. Carefully, Arcticus collected the dew from the petals, storing it in a crystal vial. The return journey was equally challenging, with the Blight seemingly aware of their mission, as dark creatures of fungus and decay attempted to hinder their progress. However, with Frostwing's fierce protection and Arcticus's determined spirit, they managed to return to the hermit's cottage safely. Using the dew of the dawnflower, the hermit concocted a potent elixir and instructed them on its use. Arcticus and his team then dispersed the elixir throughout the northern woods. Slowly, the blight receded, the icewood trees began to recover, and their magical essence rejuvenated the forest's barriers. The kingdom of Glaciera celebrated another victory, grateful for the return of their forest's vitality. Prince Arcticus's leadership and courage had again saved their cherished homeland, deepening the bonds between him, his people, and the magical creatures of their realm. As peace settled over the land, Arcticus and Frostwing remained vigilant, always ready to protect the mystical beauty of Glaciera from whatever challenges might next arise.